situations last night where in the past maybe he would have tried to bull over the smaller guy, but he showed patience?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's two things is that, he's doing it different ways, but he's consistently getting the ball into the paint, and then he's making the right play, I mean, whether it's, last night it was a lot kicking the ball out, but he's also drops the ball off, or, when he's got the seam there, he drives it. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, the other part about it that he does is he has the ability, like Vooch, to make penetrating passes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing. Not a lot of guys can throw the ball from, like, say, outside the three to a teammate in the paint, mm-hmm. and he can.
Mm-hmm. Have you and him, like, sat together and said, this is good, this is bad, this is...
Yeah, I mean, he watches film every day with Pat Delaney. That's what I mean, obviously, I talked to him a lot about it, like what actions we make on his play calls and stuff, but a lot of what he's doing right now, it's just out of when we're just playing ball, mm-hmm. And he's doing a good job with his spacing, he's get the ball inside out, and he's making good decisions.
Mm-hmm. When you talk about he and Vooch having the ability to make that long pass, is it the power on the pass, or is it the accuracy, or both?
Both. Yeah, both. Well, they see, like you can see, they throw to each other. Some of them are, like when they get the switching and they get the smaller guys, they have the ability to lob it over the top to each other. Those passes, and those are not easy passes to make.
You point out all the time that he's just 22, but the way his complete game is coming together with just already the defense, but now the making others around him better, it's kind of all coming together, isn't it?
Oh, I think he's playing like at a, again, he's a versatile guy, can play two spots, and he can become, really good on offense and really good on defense. That's what you want.
Mm-hmm. What percentage of possessions did you have paint touches on last night?
It was good. You know what? I don't have it. To be honest with you, I did it early this morning, and I usually share it with them. And because this has been such, like we're in the middle of 9. Today I didn't do this was good, this was bad, so I didn't put it on the board, but it was good. I can't give you an exact number, but it was good.
Do you recall the deflection number?
Yeah. The deflections were 41, which is, again, really good. 38 to me is usually like what we always use as an indicator.
That includes altered shots, etc., correct?
Yeah. Pat Delaney does that. Yeah.
Cliff, Mo was talking about afterwards that you came up to him yesterday in shoot-around and said, okay, I'm ready for you to go after him. Like, I trust you. I want you to go after shots. Can you just talk about the thinking?
Well, no, just watching. Like, I think that, it's obviously step by step for all the younger players, and he'd been doing it a little bit more and a little bit more. And, so I just told him, like, listen, I think sometimes he's concerned about if I go, my man's going to get the ball. And, he has to learn that to be a good basketball protector, you got to go every time. Mm-hmm. And then, his teammates have to learn that when he goes, there's got to be a sync and a level of cover, mm-hmm. By the other guys. So I thought last night he was, much more active, and it's something we can build on.
But it seems like you've really empowered Terrence with that six-man role. Can you tell me about the conversations coming into this season where I think he came to you and said, sort of embracing that as a possibility?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, again, with him, I'd like to say I did this. It's the same thing. His play has been good because of his off season. He had a terrific August and a terrific September, and I noticed he started really amping things up in late July, and then he did a lot of work with Steve Hetzel. So he came into camp in a good place, and he's on top of things. So again, it's an interesting concept, right? When you work really hard at something and you're talented, you play well, and it's no, I'm being serious. And so really, as much as anything, that's what it is, And and he's also, it's not very hard to find ways to get him shots.
Yeah.
He has elevation, and he has explosiveness, and he does not need much room to get a good shot off. So, I mean, he's really, really off to a, well, not off to, I mean, we've played whatever we've played, but I mean, we've played, 37 games? Mm-hmm. And, I mean, he's playing at a high, high level.
Oh, it's the best. Coming in off the bench, I would assume you as a coach would really appreciate someone who doesn't fight that.
Oh, totally. No, totally. I mean, listen now, when you talk to him, he's extremely team-oriented, though. Mm-hmm. I mean, rarely does he talk. He'll come to me if he'll say, like during a game, he's very good about they're doing this, they're taking me away this way. And, we constantly build counters because when he's on the floor, he gets extra attention. He always has. I mean, I remember coaching against him when he was in Toronto. And, it's the same thing. I mean, off staggers or pin downs or whatever it is, you can't let him get loose because if he makes the first couple, it's over. So he's used to being, whatever, a marked man, so to speak. But he's very team-oriented, which is where it sets the whole thing up.
How many millions of memories do you have of you and Tibbs in the film room in Houston all those years?
Yeah. Tom, we had a friendship from college. When he was at Harvard, I was at Boston University. But when I went to the Knicks, he taught me the NBA. It was working for Jeff Van Gundy. It was Don Chaney, Kevin O'Neill, and Tom, and they were all great to me. But Tom, luckily for me, we had a friendship. We've always gotten along well, and he's a friend, but he's very much a mentor. He taught me everything from how to watch film to how to do a game plan, how to work guys out, people say, is he your friend? He's almost like Jeff and Stan to me. He's taught me so much about the NBA.
Are there similarities between the two of you?
I'd like to think so. Listen, people know him. I think that there's, his demeanor on the sideline. People have Tom has got great personality, great wit. He's one of my closest friends.
What's his best characteristic as a coach? What does he do best that you've seen?
I would say this is my thing about him is, I'd say that I would look at it the other way. I'm not sure there's anything that he's not real good at, and the funny thing to me is, and it happens to everybody that coaches, is when you get a reputation that you're a defensive coach or you're an offensive coach, is people don't realize it. He is a terrific offensive coach. And, all you have to do, people always talk about in Chicago, go back and look at the numbers. Go back and look at the numbers of how good they were offensively when they were healthy.
Yeah.
One more thing on Terrence. I'm curious, you spent so many years coaching against him. I'm curious, how do you, coming into this season, use that experience having coached against him and say, okay, this is how to maximize?
Yeah, the one thing is that we went back and we run two or three of the like his pet plays in Toronto because he has such a comfort level, and then we don't necessarily, what that's led to is, and this happens with all coaches, with guys that can score, we don't necessarily always run those plays, but we took those concepts and do the same thing within some of the structure that we have. So the basis of which a lot of the stuff that we run for him with is stuff that Dwayne ran for him in Toronto.
One of the reasons why you and Tom get along is that you both share the characteristic of almost working too hard or putting in an insane amount of hours, especially when you were younger.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Look, I like to talk basketball, and he likes to talk basketball. But Tom likes to talk about the same stuff. Like, this is how I would teach this, and talk about coaching philosophy and coaches and stuff like that. And again, I just think people, know we're friends, but really, for me, very much a mentor. Very much a mentor.
What worries you the most about the Timberwolves? I mean, obviously they're loaded with talent.
Well, is what they do is, like all his teams, is they play to the strengths of their best players. So they're not caught up with how many threes they shoot. They play post up basketball, ISO basketball. They have a lot of different ways to score. But if you can't, take away like Town's strengths, Wiggins' strengths, and then the other part to me is the rebounding part. Like I think on their best nights, I think they're 5th in offensive rebounding points, I believe. So, there's a lot of challenges there.
How are your injured players? How did they get through last night?
I think DJ felt fine. He did everything this morning. We didn't do any contact. And Sim did everything this morning, too. So we'll see how he feels tomorrow.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.